to Chicas and Chisme. We are your hosts. I'm Carla.
And I'm Angelica.
We have some fun stuff to talk about today. Angelica?
Some fun topics.
What are we talking about today? What is our topic for today?
Our topic is dating and the fears of dating after coming out of a long-term relationship.
That sounds like fun.
It's been a topic among my circle recently. And I thought it'd be an interesting topic to talk about because, you know, we're not the only ones that go through this. I mean, it's a natural process while you're looking for the one. You're going to, you're going to have failed relationships. And that's just part of it because you learn from it and you grow.
Know, I am learning a lot about that because, as you know, I have attachment. I don't want to say issues. Well, what else would you call it?
It's like an attachment disorder.
It's even worse. Anyway, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Attachment issues. And in the past, it was like really hard for me to let go of people. And slowly but surely, I'm learning to let go. And it's easy. It's like, okay, bye.
Yeah. I'm trying to find like the what it means. It says an attachment disorder is a type of mood or behavior disorder that affects a person's ability to form and maintain relationships. These disorders typically develop in childhood. They can result when a child is unable to have a consistent emotional connection with a parent or a primary caregiver.
I heard that today.
Yeah?
I heard that today, that a lot of your, I don't want to say negative, but yes, negative issues with dating a lot of it has to do with the way you were raised.
Well, it's linked back to the relationship you've had with your parents. I know. Right now I'm feeling like, like that emoji with that
like
in the brain. Mm-hmm. Because, your relationships with your parents kind of teach you what relationships should look like in the future. And it's so connected. It's unconditional love, right? It's supposed to be, right, with your parent. Mm-hmm. And so your parent teaches you whether you matter, whether you're important, whether they love you.
Right. But remember we were talking about this the other day, and it's like, I'm a middle child. That's just the way that it is. And even my parents will tell you, till this day, my parents will say, yes, we pushed her to the side because we didn't know what to do with her. She never gave us issues. She never gave us problem. The older and the younger one were always kind of problematic.
They needed more attention. Yeah.
Right. And my parents will tell you that. And we were talking about that. It doesn't mean that they don't love me. Sometimes I think, do my parents, never mind.
Yeah.
I wonder sometimes, like, do my parents love me? And I don't say it as like, oh, poor me. I just say it as, that's how I feel sometimes.
Yeah.
So then in turn, it does kind of fall into that me dating, me seeing people, me losing people.
Well, you're connecting like attention, like quality time, attention, listening, all that stuff to love. And so because your parents didn't give you that consistently, to you, it was like you question whether the love was there or not, even though, deep down they did love you. It's just like
they do love me.
They do love you. I mean, growing up as a child, right?
Yes.
Of course they love you.
You're very
lovable.
Yeah,
by the way.
Duh. Just kidding.
But, you're looking at it as though these behaviors represent affection and love, right? That kind of affection and love and attention is linked to validation, like whether they do love you or not, right? So when you're dating, if someone's giving you that attention and love and all this stuff, like to you, you're seeking that to validate that they love you, right? Because to you, it's like, if I don't have that, then they don't love me.
Then they don't love me. Right.
If I have it, then they do. But that's you're attached to that, as opposed to they're choosing to be with you, right? And maybe they have a different way of showing love.
But that's what I was going to bring up. Love languages, right?
Yeah.
I truly believe in love languages.
Oh, me too.
And because it's true, because my love language can be words of affirmation and acts of service, and then their love language can be completely different than mine. So if we don't connect there, if he doesn't understand mine and I don't understand his, then it comes to like, well, you don't care about me or you don't love me. And it's not that. It's just that it's different.
Well, it's so funny you bring that up, the love language, because I was not recently, but in the near recent time, I had a conversation with someone who was talking about the love language between, husband and wife, right? And how the husband's love language was words of affirmation, and the wife's love language was acts of service, right? And the husband, in his mind, he wanted to educate his wife on his love language so that when he loved her the way he was taught to love,
in his language,
then she knew that he loved her, right? But I told him it's the opposite. Like, you're supposed to find out the way your partner feels love, because they have to genuinely feel love, and you have to love them that way. And even if it's not normal to you to love someone like that, the whole point is to make them feel love, right?
Right.
So
he wanted her to understand his love language, which I don't think there's a right or wrong way, right?
He wanted her. So it was he telling me. Right. He wanted her to accept the way he loves, the way he wants love.
Instead of him trying to
love her the way she wants to be loved. So if she loved him the way he likes to be loved, and he loved her the way she likes to be loved, then they're both feeling love. Mm-hmm. But instead, what he wanted was for her to feel love the way he feels love.
Me.
And then for her and then the flip. And it's like, so neither of them feel love, because they're both being loved the way they don't feel love. Mm-hmm. So it's the opposite. It's more being about selfless, right? So it's like, Carla, what's your love language? Like, tell me, like, let's say we're in a relationship, right? What's your love language? Stop it. Stop flirting with me. By the way, we're straight, guys.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I want to believe that I have a lot of love languages. Not a lot, but mine is, I feel like I'm acts of service.
Your acts of service.
That's my main one. Mm-hmm. Like, if you do something for me,
you feel love.
I feel like, oh my God, you care about me.
Yeah.
And that's, across the board, friends, family, lovers, whatever. Yes.
Okay. So, and then mine is quality time, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say we're in a relationship and I'm like, hey, Carla, my love language is quality time. So I'm going to spend time with you. You should feel love because I'm spending time with you. And you're like, no, I want you to help me with stuff and do stuff for me. I want
to go wash the damn dishes.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to love you the way I feel love. Why aren't you feeling love the way I feel love?
Okay. So let me understand this. So your love. Okay. So I tell you, hey, I know that's your love language. So how about we go for a walk and hold hands?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's coming from me. It's not my love language.
No.
And then we come home and you throw out the trash for me.
Yes. You get it?
Ya la agarré.
Ya la agarraste. Sí, all right, we're ready. Let's log off and let's go on.
Okay,
let's go meet someone. We're ready for a relationship.
We're ready. I get it.
But people get it flipped where they're like, well, you love different than I do, so you know that when I do that for you that I'm loving you. And it's like, yeah, but that's not how that person feels love.
I think that and I think that comes with, like you said, selfless. Then some people are being selfish.
Yeah. It's like, let me find out my partner's needs.
Yeah.
And then let me accommodate my partner's needs and vice versa.
That's lately.
They're getting
the men. Okay, that too. But the men I have dated.
Yeah.
They're selfish.
Yeah.
Because it's not about me.
No.
In the beginning, when they're trying to get to know you and trying to like catch you and be like, okay,
let me hook you, reel you in.
And then once you're there, it's like, now it's like they're being selfish. And that's what I have. That's why I find it hard to have a successful relationship, because I feel like nowadays people are selfish, and I'm not going to just blame men.
Well, I think they're confused. And I'm telling you, like, this person I was talking to, he had the best of intentions. He had the best of intentions. Mm-hmm. He was just confused on how it worked.
Yeah.
Right? And so when I told him, he was like, what? And then when I explained it to him, he was like, oh my God, I've been doing it wrong the whole time. No wonder we're not both feeling love. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, maybe I should pick up dinner tonight, huh, and have her not cook. I'm like, oh my God, because her love language is acts of service.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, maybe you should.
So some get it, some don't.
Well, if it's not explained to you, most men, honestly, society has like ingrained in men that, seeking help, mental health, therapy, stuff like that, or not having like a good person on their side to help them walk through stuff, then they just kind of float and do it the way they saw their parents do it or their friends are doing it or whatever. So they're really unaware. And I don't think most of them intentionally are trying to be selfish. They just don't know. Most of them. There are some out there who have their own intentions, and you'll know because there's red flags, which we're going to talk about. Red flags and green flags, girl. Red flags.
Why am I freaking blind to red flags? Like,
You're
am
not.
I colorblind?
Not
because
anymore.
I have seen a lot of red flags where I'm like, but then in the moment, I'm like, oh, it's no big deal. And now that that's over, I'm like, holy shit. That was a red flag. I should have, you know what I mean? I should have paid attention.
Well, like we were talking in some of our conversations that we've had, we ignore red flags when we haven't fallen in love with ourselves. Because the moment you're in love with yourself, it's so clear. Like you have the bullshit radar glasses on and you go, what? That doesn't feel like love for me. And I mean, obviously when you're first starting a relationship, you're not trying to look for love, but you're trying to feel safe. You're trying to feel comfortable, right? And so when someone starts to make you feel like cornered, maybe,
and anxious,
yes, anxious.
That is the feeling that I understand now.
It's actually communicating to you that that's not healthy what you're experiencing.
Yes, and it's funny because I've dated to where in the beginning I'm like, this is so amazing. It's great. It's going so good. Yeah. And then boom, it switches. And then I start feeling anxious because either they start pulling away or they start treating me completely different. And before it'd be like, okay, it's okay. I'm just gonna.
Or maybe their real insecurities start to come out and you start to feel kind of like, oh, wow, like this is not the package I like signed up for.
No,
right?
And that's one of the red flags I need to follow. As soon as I start feeling anxious about anybody I'm dating, I either cut it off or confront them.
Confront them.
What's going on?
Yeah, because sometimes it's nothing to do with you. It may be like they got caught up in, or maybe they're going through something, but they don't trust you enough to like tell you what's going on with them.
True.
But that's what communication's huge, right? So kind of was thinking about like some red flags and green flags, and they do go hand in hand, right?
Hold on. I had never heard the term green flag until TikTok.
Because why? Okay, so I'm either, right? It took me a while to hear green flag because for so long I've been trying to unlearn how to accepting red flags, right? Like it's like identify them, see them, and don't accept them, right? I've been working on that for so long. But then you get to a point where you're like, oh, that's easy. Like red flags are easy for me now. Like I'm like, whatever. If I see a red flag, I'm gone. I'm done. Bye. But the green flags, it's like, how do you trust green flags? Like to me, it's like, oh my God, after everything I've been through, I'm like, they're green. Are they real?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The last person I dated for like 6 months, it was green flags. And it was like, wow, I've never met anybody like this. That's why I was like, this is it.
But there was red flags that you were ignoring.
Yeah, I guess.
You were, but you're learning.
But there are so many more green flags than red.
But there shouldn't be any red.
No, I know.
Yellow, maybe. Green, yellow's okay because you're proceeding with caution. The true colors will come out eventually. It could be miscommunication. But red, like a straight up red flag, even if there's a million green flags and there's one red flag, there's more under those green as people get comfortable.
Yeah, I guess. And I'm learning slowly, but surely I'm learning. I mean, like I said, I was married I've had 3 serious relationships in my whole entire life. And my second relationship was almost 13 years. I don't know. So,
it takes time.
And then going into the dating world now, it's like, holy crap, it's tough. And I don't want to bring that energy. Like, I want to believe that there's someone out there for you. There's someone out there for me. But in reality, it's like out of 20, there's like half. And I don't mean 10. It's like, I mean half a man. You know what I mean? It's like, it's real scary. And thankfully, I've gone through the things I have gone through because I would not be where I'm at right now.
And you're growing and you're learning.
And I'm learning to love myself. I told you the story I had with my dad.
Yeah.
The first thing my dad told me was, you need to love yourself. You don't love yourself. And this is why you are going through the things you're going through.
And
that stuck with me. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, and it's easy to say, oh, you don't love yourself. I don't love myself, right? But what does that mean? What does that look like, right? And the truth is, when you love yourself, you pay attention to your awareness on how things make you feel. So if you get anxious, you're like, I love myself enough not to go through this. Mm-hmm. If you love yourself, you say, these are my boundaries. Mm-hmm. This is where I feel comfortable. This is where they're crossing the line. And if I communicate my boundary mm-hmm. and they still cross the line, then they don't respect me and I'm moving on. That means I love me. And that could be with friendships, family, relationships, mm-hmm. work, anything. You have your boundaries because you love yourself. You know your boundaries.
And not only that, but I was going to say, I have given too much. I have given too much power to other people. And to me, for a long time, I thought I can only be happy if there's somebody in my life. And gosh, that's so untrue.
Oh, yeah.
That's so freaking untrue. I am learning so much about myself. I'm learning so much about being by myself, doing things for myself. You know, the one thing that I keep hearing is whatever you would do to, like, for instance, if you meet somebody, right? You want to be so good to them. You want to call them. You want to tell them how much you enjoy being with them, spending time with them. And you want to tell them how happy they make you. Why don't you tell yourself that? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm learning. It's kind of like weird. I don't tell myself, hey girl, what's up? Like, you're so cool. But I do tell myself, like, you're a badass. You're this, you're that, like positive.
Like things, you know what it is you have to get used to feeling. You have to get used to feeling what it feels like to be treated good. Uh-huh. And it has to feel normal and it has to feel comfortable because the more you do it for yourself, it's like a muscle. You have to work it out, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like all this time you've been, used to not loving yourself, right? So when someone comes in and doesn't love you, that feels normal because you don't love yourself, right? You're attracting what you do to yourself because it feels uncomfortable if somebody comes in and says, like, starts treating you really good. You start going, do you have an underlying like intention behind that, right? Because you don't believe it. How could you believe that someone's going to love you mm-hmm. if you don't love you? You don't know what that feels like, right? Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is correct. Like, if you're like, oh, I would totally like put together a picnic for my date. I would order like a charcuterie board and some wine and I plan this whole cool date with my date. Why don't you do that for yourself?
For yourself.
Do it for yourself. Take yourself out. we live in San Diego. Yeah. It is beautiful. Take yourself out on a date.
I was talking to a client and I told her I had seen a TikTok.
TikTok.
I like TikTok.
But we're on the TikTok side of like it. Just, like I would like to see other people's TikToks.
I know.
like what do you look like? It's all growth.
I was talking to my client and I told her because it was going to be Easter and I told her, oh my God, I saw this TikTok and it was a husband putting an Easter basket for his wife. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wow, it never occurred to me that you can build a Easter basket for
your partner.
You think Easter basket, you think kids, right? Mm-hmm. And then I said, that would be so nice. I said, I would love to get an Easter basket from a partner or something. Yeah. And you know what she said? She goes, make yourself a basket. Why does it have to come from a man? And I was like, oh, yeah.
You know what? We should do that next year.
Yes.
Like, and start making a tradition to give ourselves a basket.
Put it out there with Shyla's. And, we both come down and like, Easter Bunny came for both of us with all our favorite stuff.
Yes. And then when we are in a relationship, make it a tradition to get them one too.
Yeah.
Right? And still get yourself one. And at some point, van a agarrar la onda. They'll start doing it for you. And then you'll get what you want. If not, you still give it to yourself. So it's fine. It's fine. It's all beautiful, beautiful.
And that's exactly what I'm starting to do. To some, it might be like, oh my God, you're so lame. But to me, it's so important because I want to, and this is another thing I learned. It's like, you don't need a man or a man doesn't need a woman. Like I want to be to a point where I am so happy to where it's an addition to my happiness. Like you add something good to my life. It's not like there's a void and you're trying to fill that void. No, it's like an addition.
I know. And you know what?
To my amazing world.
Yeah. Honestly, there's a switch that goes on. Like I recently felt that. Like maybe, I don't know, last year or something. I felt the switch. I just felt it. It literally felt like a switch. And I was like, holy crap, I'm so happy by myself. And like, if someone comes into my life, they better be happy with their life too.
Yes.
And just two happy people. I'm not saying we're not going to have issues, like, because you're getting to know each other and communicating or whatever, but two happy people that are not dependent on each other for happiness.
Bing.
And then like it clicked internally, like obviously in my mind, I always understood that. But like when it finally clicked inside of me, I was like, I could breathe. I don't need a relationship. Oh my God, I'm so happy by myself, right? I'm so happy by myself. I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with my kids. I'm happy with my circle. I'm so blessed.
You know, remember I was telling you, yes, I feel that I almost messaged you today. I was at Sprouts grocery shopping and I smiled out of nowhere. And I'm like, holy crap. I feel so happy right now. Just grocery shopping for me and Shyla. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to make dinner for us. And it's going to be awesome. And we have plans this weekend. And I'm so excited to do things with her that I'm like, this is what happiness looks like. Just being by myself. And remember, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but remember the last time? This is how I feel about dating. I've been running a marathon and
You're
finish
exhausted.
line, I'm exhausted.
And
like,
they keep moving the finish line.
like I've been running marathons every weekend and I'm like, okay, I need a break.
Yeah.
I don't want to run a marathon tomorrow or this weekend or next weekend. Like, how about you give me like 6-month break
And give it to yourself.
Yes, because it's exhausting.
It can be.
And it sucks because I don't, ¿cómo te diré? Like there's these men that have made us think that everybody sucks, but not everybody sucks.
No, we don't.
And there's women that suck too,
Yeah,
right?
no.
I don't want to just blame the men.
There's a percentage.
There's a lot of women that suck.
I feel
also.
like the good men are meeting the sucky women and the good women are meeting the sucky men because the sucky men won't put up with sucky women. They want good women, and the sucky women don't want sucky men. They want good men.
freaking shit show.
Like, why don't you sucky people go be by yourself and heal yourself so they could be less sucky people in the world?
Oh my God.
Right?
Yes. No,
But
I
you know
agree.
what? Not my problem. Not my place to fix people.
Nope.
Right? But our responsibility to ourselves is to identify red flags and run, identify yellow flags, communicate, and appreciate green flags.
Oh, I love that you just said that. We should write that down. That's so good.
We need to write it down and like put it on our Instagram.
Yes. Seriously, it's true. And again, I don't want to blame just men because there is good men out there. I don't know where they're at, but there are good men. You know?
And they are. And
Repórtense.
there's a lot. No, there's a lot of good men out there, but they just, you and that you probably don't have chemistry with them, or they're your friends. Like there's good men. It's just that chemistry is just like the spark. We just haven't met that person that also has that with us, right? But I'm around a lot of good men. It's just that pool's not there for me. But that doesn't mean they're not good men, right?
Right.
But okay, so for women out there, real quick, for women out there who just came out, not just came out. Let's say they came out of a long-term relationship and they've been single for 6 months to a year, right? Mm-hmm. And now they're ready to get out there. So natural, normal feelings when you're first dating and you're first going out there are things like being guarding your heart, overthinking everything that they do.
The overthinking.
Your fear of getting hurt, or walking into a first date thinking that, oh my God, just because I'm on this first date, they're going to be my forever person. And like, based off of one conversation you had with them, you already like married them.
You're already planning your wedding.
You're already planning your funeral because they're going to be with you forever.
Yeah.
And or also like living in fear, like, oh my God, like this is too much for me. I'm overwhelmed. Like those are normal.
Are so accurate.
And they're all normal feelings when you're first getting out there. It's so normal to feel that way, but it's okay. Get out there anyway. Get out there and be aware. Be aware of your feelings and come back and go, why do I feel that way? Because that person, you're responsible for your internal world, right?
Right.
They're not. So one, identify their red flags, right? But if they're not giving you any, why are you feeling all this turmoil? It's because the only way to heal from past relationships, one is to give yourself time to heal, right? To like go back and review the whole relationship and think, okay, what did I do wrong?
It just
What
seems
did I
like
do right?
so much work.
It has been so much work. It's been so much work. But still put yourself out there, meet people, and don't meet them with the intention of dating. Meet them for just
connection
and like quality and like whatever you do, even if you go on one date, you're gaining from that experience.
Yeah.
You know, don't put so much pressure on it.
Yeah.
And it's easier said than done because I did it. I've done it.
I've done it the whole time. I've dated. I'm like, oh, this is potential. Maybe he'll ask me to be his girlfriend tomorrow. It's like, ridiculous.
We're getting married. Like you'll call me. I'm like, hey, so I'm getting married. What? No, I'm just kidding.
Now it's let me see the ring.
No, it's a joke. But as single moms, just real quick, some red flags: irresponsible behavior. You don't need that shit. You got kids. Right? Not being flexible, understanding with your schedule because you have children. Insecure or overly controlling. Horrible communicators.
That has happened. Every single one of them, I checked the box.
Yeah. Jealousy or jumps to conclusions or makes assumptions about you. Like those are all red flags. I'm sure there's more, but those are just a few. And also that they lack emotional intelligence. So quick.
Let's talk about that real quick.
Real quick. We have a few minutes.
I didn't understand emotional intelligence.
So I looked it up. Emotional intelligence. I mean, I know what it is, but like, so that to make it easier, para no hacerme bolas. Emotional intelligence is the ability to perceive and manage emotions. People with a low level of emotional intelligence are unable to pick up on your feelings or empathize with you. This often results in unnecessary conflicts or forms of manipulation.
Wow.
So if you have high emotional intelligence, you can pick up your partner's emotions and empathize with them. Put yourself in their shoes.
And understand.
Even if you don't agree, understand how the other person feels and realize that you're a team and come to solutions together because you can actually feel what they feel, right? People with low emotional intelligence can't do that. It's all about them. They feel nothing. They don't care what you said. They actually, most of the time, go through one ear, not the other. And they're like, wait, what? Why would that make you? Why would that upset you? It doesn't upset me.
Here we go. That phrase, here we go. I fucking hate. Oh, here we go. It's like, yeah, here we go. And once somebody said that to me recently, and I was like, done. I'm not going to do this. Here we go. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't want to listen to what I have to say. I'm done.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Emotional intelligence, let me give you a little secret. Is so beneficial, not only to relationships, like emotional, like, romantic relationships, but in all relationships. Because it's called connection and understanding each other and feeling what the other person's feeling. It brings so much more value to friendships, relationships.
And I have come to realize that a lot of people lack that.
They don't understand it, right? And you have it. You just didn't know what it was called. Yeah. So now we have a name, emotional intelligence. And also to those women who are barely out there trying to find a partner, healing, coming from like long-term relationships, always be honest with yourself and make decisions from self-love. Know when to leave. Know when it's like...
That is so important, ladies and gentlemen, right? Mm-hmm. Not just ladies, but everybody. Know when to leave. Because I have stayed because I always, I don't know why I have stayed.
Because you make excuses.
I make excuses when I knew that I should have left a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I give one chance. And the chance isn't like, let me give you one chance because you already messed up. It's, there was miscommunication. Let me communicate. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? Do we understand each other? Cool. And then it happens again, and clearly your actions are showing me you didn't understand or you just didn't care.
Right.
Now I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not, there's no more.
Yeah.
Because I myself, when I'm putting myself in a relationship or in that kind of situation, I'm putting 100% of myself and giving you that 100% respect. Mm-hmm. And if something's bothering you about me, please tell me. Don't just go, bye. No, come tell me so that we're communicating and give me one chance to understand you and make it right. And that's it. Like, and I will do my best to try to respect your wishes.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
That is, I think that's equivalent to a healthy relationship.
I know. Yeah. Anywho.
Well, thank you for listening.
I hope you guys learned a little here with us.
And we will Talk to you soon.